Hey guys, how's it going? Before we begin, just another quick plug. If you're not in the Discord server already, this is your last week to get in for free to make sure you check it out before we go fully paid next week. Also, we're making big moves. We've opened up a Twitter page if Twitter is your thing. So it is at Solopreneur on ONYT. You can see it right there in the bottom left of your screen. Maybe I'll follow Elon Musk right now. Why not? Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back here with another daily update video. And before we get the video started, I just want to apologize because I said something that was incorrect in last night's video. And that is when I was talking about the Tesla calls and in terms of possibly buying Tesla 2200 calls for $90. I wasn't thinking straight, and that $90 was $90 per share. So it would be times 100 per contract because every contract is 100 shares. So it wouldn't have been $90 to buy a contract. It would have actually been $9,000. So I was off by a factor of 100 in my thinking. I just wasn't thinking straight. Obviously, I know better. But I don't understand why they make it so difficult, and why do they list the premium prices in per share instead of per contract? Because you can't buy anything less than 100 shares per contract. So it would just take a little extra step out of the equation if they just gave you the contract price instead of the per share premium. But that's just me. But again, I just wanted to apologize. Just another reason for you to get into Discord server, because my folks in there were very quick to point out my mistake and set me straight. So if you want up to the minute corrections and up to the minute data, make sure you hop in the Discord server. Like I said, this is the last week before we go paid next week. So if you want to check it out, now's your opportunity. We have almost 500 people in there right now. So a lot of good people, a lot of people that are much smarter and much more experienced than I am. So make sure you check it out if you're not in there. And also, we started a Twitter page. So if you're not into Discord, but you're more of a tweeter, then follow me on Twitter as well. I've been posting a little bit every day. Just opened it up a few days ago. So let's get right into today's video. And I saw an interesting graph that was posted on Reddit today. And somebody took a lot of time and effort. And what they did was they actually posted the average sentiment on Reddit versus what the S&P 500 and what the VIX was doing. So the black lines on the top and the bottom. On the top, the black line represents the S&P 500 value. And on the bottom line, the black line represents the VIX, or the volatility index. And the different colored lines here, the kind of dark blue, the red, and the gold, represent different news sources, for example. So the red line actually represents the news, the gold line represents Twitter feeds, and then the dark blue line represents Reddit feeds. So the real question is does kind of the news and Twitter and Reddit sentiment, does it happen before or after changes in the S&P 500 or the VIX? So one interesting thing I saw, especially in this area, was that all three news sources, in terms of news, in terms of Reddit, and in terms of Twitter, all three started having lower sentiment before the S&P 500 started going down lower, which is actually pretty interesting. And this is January, this is March. So it's roughly about a 1 month to a couple weeks of a quote unquote delay between when there was a more negative sentiment on the news feeds compared to when the S&P 500 started dipping. And the way to read this graph is kind of the baseline is in the middle. Anything above the baseline is considered positive sentiment. Anything below is negative sentiment. So obviously down here during peak illness, the S&P 500 was at its lowest point in recent history. And then, it makes sense that Twitter, Reddit, and the news were also at the highest level of negative sentiment. But I found it interesting. But then if you look at the VIX graph here, it pretty much correlates like identically almost, meaning once the VIX goes up, the news and Reddit and Twitter sentiment also goes up, which is actually counterintuitive because the VIX is supposed to be a fear index. So if there's increasing fear, then you would think there would be more negative sentiment in terms of the market in the news feeds, Twitter feeds, and Reddit feeds. But actually the opposite is happening. So I guess this is essentially the Warren Buffett effect, where, be fearful when people are greedy and greedy when people are fearful, because when people are being fearful, aka the fear index is going up, there's more and more positive sentiment in the news. So I guess people are essentially buying the dip, if that's what you want to think about it. Or, I'm going to coin this as like the Warren Buffett effect, which is actually very interesting. I was kind of staring at this graph for a few minutes, and a lot of interesting data there. Because the other interesting thing is that if you believe in this data, and if you want to track, let's say, Reddit sentiment, you can easily do that. There are websites that track specifically even Wall Street Bets sentiment. So if you believe in this data and you say, hey, if the news feeds are going to have negative sentiment a little bit before we actually drop in the S&P 500, then you can monitor, if you really believed in it, the Wall Street Bets sentiment to see when they start going negative in terms of their sentiment, and that might predate an actual drop in the market. Actually crazy to think about, to be honest with you. And you also wonder, is it a little bit of a chicken or egg thing, meaning did the market drop because there was so much negative sentiment, or was there so much negative sentiment and then that's what the market kind of looked at and then dropped afterwards? So just kind of interesting data that I was just pondering as the day went on, but let's get right into it today. So here's the heat map for today. Mixture of red and green on the board. Tech didn't have a great day today. Amazon was down 1.2. Facebook got hit pretty hard at 3.5 after a nice run up yesterday. Apple was down 1.2. Google down almost 1%. Microsoft had a good day at 2.5%. And I will tell you what, the news gets crazier and crazier every day, because now there were talks that Microsoft wants to team up with Walmart to buy TikTok. So, I mean, what a crazy collaboration between Walmart and TikTok and Microsoft. I mean, who would have thought? But I suspect a little bit of a pump in Microsoft is because of that rumor, if you want to call it that came out. But semis got hit hard today. AMD was down 2.6%, and I actually looked into maybe opening up some cash good puts on AMD today, for not for tomorrow, but for the following week. But I gotta tell you, the premiums just weren't that juicy on AMD. I couldn't find a return on risk that I like. Micron was down again at 0.8%, but we weren't at $42 not too long ago, and Micron rallied up to 44, 45 in a couple of days. So maybe we did hit the bottom of Micron in the low 40s, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's just take the bubble map just for fun now. But Abbott got a nice pump today because there were rumors, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but their $5 illness test is going to be confirmed and probably pumped by the presidency. So they got a nice little pump today. LYV, not sure what that is. They got a nice pump. Live Nation Entertainment, not sure what caused this 8.8% pump, but if you know, leave it in the comments below. A lot of the other stocks or tickers that I see here don't really recognize. United Airlines got a nice pump. Again, not sure why. Maybe nobody knows why, because the airlines are just kind of doing whatever they want to do right now without making any sense. Because my Tesla spreads are doing pretty good right now. Had another green day in Tesla, which is exactly what I needed to happen. My Tesla was up 1.2% right at market open. We rallied really hard up until noontime, up almost 6.4%. And then the whole market kind of sold off right then and there. And then we rallied again back for the rest of the day. We ended up closing today up about 3.4, 3.5%, which is perfect because, unfortunately, I wasn't able to close my spreads out today just because I was busy and had a hectic day. But, essentially I have diamond hands at this point because my spreads right now are, I want to say, over 95% profitable. They were like that this morning, so it really wasn't worthwhile for me to hold it for 2 more days just to eke out a few more bucks in premium. But like I said, I just didn't have the opportunity to close them out, so I was forced to have diamond hands. But it all worked out for me because I eked out a few more percentage points in premium. And at this point, I feel like as long as we open up green or even trade flat tomorrow, I'll just let them expire tomorrow, hopefully for max profit, because there's no point for closing them out now when tomorrow's already Friday is when they expire. But yeah, looking pretty good on Tesla. I know another member in the Discord server had the same exact spread that I did on. He didn't get it from me. We just happened to coincidentally pick the same spread. So I'm sure he's doing really well right now as well. Let's take a look at that $90 call that I was thinking about buying. And yes, I know $9,000 wasn't thinking straight, but that call, if I had bought that call for $9,000 yesterday for September 4th, it's already worth $136. So I would have made, let's just keep it 136. If I bought it for 90, I would have made $46 per share times 100 shares. I would have been up almost 50%, $4,600. if I had a time machine, I'd go back and buy those calls. And it's so funny because I don't know what I was thinking. Because when I was looking at it, I was like, wow, $90, that's so cheap. I should buy a couple of these. And you know what? If I did, I probably would have, put a nice chunk of change in my portfolio. But you live and you learn. Again, sorry for the mistake. The other plays that I had open right now were Virgin Galactic for this week. That was Space SPCE. We opened up green, so I thought we were going to have a good day. We sold off really hard in the morning, rallied back a little bit to pretty much break even where we closed yesterday, dipped again, and then pretty much rallied all the way back to break even. We did end up down about 0.2%, but gosh, I really want Virgin Galactic to get back to 19 because I sold my covered calls at 19, kind of hoping that they would get called away. I mean, I sold them for $8 in premium, so better than nothing, some Taco Bell money. But I really, at this point, want to stop bag holding these shares and get them called away. So I'm really hoping for a rally. I don't think we're going to get to 19 tomorrow unless some crazy news breaks. So I'm going to hope for next Friday now that we'll get up to $19. I'll probably sell some more 19 strike covered calls on Monday, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm not bag holding that much in space. I have 200 shares at $19, so it's only $3,800 of my portfolio. So I do have some more free cash available to play with if I need to. But you know what? This week just didn't feel right because aside from my Tesla spread and my Virgin Galactic covered calls, I didn't open any new positions this week because one, I just could not find any good plays to make. Nothing seemed juicy that I wanted to play. And then the other reason is I can't really explain it, but we were actually talking about this in the Discord server yesterday, is that it just didn't feel right. The market just didn't feel right this week. And I didn't want to force a trade because I don't like it when I'm kind of equivocal on the market or what it's going to do or if it's going to go up or go down. And it just didn't have a good vibe this week. So I'd rather be cash gang, not lose money, not force trades, and just basically live to fight another day. But so that was my trading week for this week so far. Probably nothing is going to change tomorrow unless we have another red day and I can open up some juicy premiums for the following Friday. That would be the best case scenario because like I said, I do have some dry powder left. I'll have to keep an eye on some of these tickers. I did look at AMD, like I said, because it did have a red day, but the premiums just weren't that juicy. I mean, AMD had a pretty red day for AMD. I mean, it was down almost 2.5%. Let's take a look at the options chain. If I want to sell a put for this coming Friday, the at the money strike would be $208 in premium divided by 8,300 in collateral. So, it's not bad. It's 2.5%, but I just wanted something a little bit juicier. In all honesty, on AMD. Let's see if we have another red day on AMD tomorrow. I think if AMD is red tomorrow, then maybe I will open up a cash good put on AMD, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, just couldn't find any good setups. Let me know if anyone in my audience opened up some trades, if they found some setups you liked, but I just couldn't find anything I liked. As always, if you're not in the Discord server already, make sure you join in, add me on Twitter, and leave a comment or question below, either in Discord or in the YouTube comment section below. And as always, happy